Pretty sure I adopted a cat yesterday because I let our dogs out last night and then I went out to get Angel. And when I went out to get her, I heard a cat meowing and then it followed me back to the house and I let him in and I named him Marley. So I'm pretty sure he's staying because he has a name.
Yes, to say, once you name it, it's yours.
I was like, what's a good Christmas name for you? I'm going to name you Marley.
But then
Okay.
1 year it's going to be sad because it will be true. It's like the
Marley, Marley, and Marley. Okay.
Ooh.
So since we didn't get to watch a lot of the Christmas movies we were talking about, and we wanted to do, I did do some holiday movie trivia. So that's why I was super happy Brayden was coming because when Nathan and I do trivia together, it's not fun because if one of us doesn't know the answer, we just sit there in silence. And we're like, I don't know. But yeah, I thought it would be fun to start off with this. So the first one, will be no surprise to you, it's a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation question. But how many Italian twinkle lights does Clark Griswold adorn his home with? Is it A, 250, B, 2,500, C, 25,000, or D, 250,000?
You see, I want to say the 250,000 because there's a lot of lights, but that seems like way too much. So I'm going to say 25,000.
What do you think, Brayden?
25,000.
You're both correct.
Yeah.
In the film A Christmas Story, what is the name of Ralphie's bully? Is it A, Scott Malkinson, B, Scott Farquharson, C, Roger Klotz, or D, Angelica Pickles?
Scott Farquharson.
That is correct.
Scott Malkinson, he's got diabetes.
Yep, I was wondering if someone was going to pick up on that. And they were all 90s bullies, by the way. Name this 1994 remake about a 6-year-old Susan Walker who is skeptical of the Christmas myth surrounding Santa Claus until she meets a mall Santa who she believes to be the real deal. Is it A, It's a Wonderful Life, B, A Christmas Carol, C, A Miracle on 34th Street, or D, How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
It's C.
C.
Correct. That is correct.
Because I was skeptical at first. I'm like, this could be any of 10 Christmas movies. But then you said A Miracle, and I was like, yeah, it's Miracle 34th Street.
Little Mara Wilson played the role of Susan in that remake.
It's really good. As
It
far as
is.
remakes are concerned, I really enjoyed it.
That is one remake that I do really like too. In Home Alone, Kate McAllister is stranded at the airport and desperate to get home to her son Kevin. She is offered a free ride by Gus Polanski and his fellow bandmates. What kind of music did Gus and his band play? Was it A, rap, B, country, C, blues, or D, polka?
E, all of the above.
Probably at one time or another. Polka, correct. Correct.
Polka.
In Home Alone 2, what is the name of the toy store that Harry and Marv try to rob before being lured away by Kevin after he takes their photo? Is it A, FAO Toys, B, KB Toys, C, Duncan's Toy Chest, or D, Santa's Toy Chest?
That was Duncan's.
Duncan sounds right.
That's correct. That is
Yeah,
correct.
At first, I was like, Duncan's. Wait, no, that's a yo-yo. Wait, could it be both? And then you said it. It's like, yep, it's totally Duncan's Toy Chest.
And I threw one more in. I threw this one in for Lilly because she's a big Tim Burton fan. So in the film A Nightmare Before Christmas, what does Jack refer to Santa as? A, Santa Paws, B, Santa Claus, C, the man in the red suit, or D, Kris Kringle?
And they called him Santa Claus.
100% correct.
And it's the same thing, just the inflection is entirely different. We actually watched that with all the kids at the church the other day. It was quite wonderful.
I did have a bonus question, which is about the television show King of the Hill. In the episode Helenium, can you remember what Hank buys for Peggy for Christmas? Is it A, a laptop, B, a grandfather clock, C, a can of paint, or D, propane?
Brayden, you know this one?
I don't.
It is the grandfather clock.
That's correct.
It was the grandfather clock.
Because I remember like seeing that when I was I guess like a teenager, and I was like, I'd rather have the grandfather clock too.
That's correct. Peggy wanted a laptop. He gets her the grandfather clock, and then he stains it in his garage with the doors closed, and he passes out, and he has that fantastic hallucinogenic moment where he and Bobby are in like a whack-a-mole game. Do you remember this,
totally
Nathan?
A whack-a-mole game.
And he's like, it's cranking gear. Don't go up, Bobby.
It's like, Dad, I don't want to grow up. It was like, what was the coach? Was it Lombardi or something?
Oh yeah, and Peggy is one too. And Peggy keeps poking out of the hole because she's like, "They have laptops on sale, Hank," and she jumps up through the hole.
Oh, it's a great episode.
It is one of the greatest. Okay, we are doing our '90s Christmas special. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. We've actually got a couple of our friends involved, so we've got some little voice memos from them talking about some of their favorite Christmas memories and Christmas moments. And of course, we are on the 90s Rewind Report. I should have said that at the start. I've noticed I've not been introducing us lately, so you guys have to help me with that. So I'm Michael. Go ahead and say there you go. Say your own names.
I'm Brayden.
There you go.
It's like Brayden bailed.
Brayden's like, what are we doing? Oh, okay. So I thought we would start off with talking about some of the most highest grossing or most sought after toys from 1989 to 2000. So in 1989, the top game that everybody wanted was the Nintendo Game Boy. I thought this came out later for some reason, but no, the Game Boy debuted in 89. And if there is anybody out there who's not familiar with the Game Boy, much like you guys have the Switches and everything today, it was a handheld portable gaming console that allowed players to play a variety of games on the go, only we could not download our games. If you wanted a game, you had to beg your parents to go to the store and pay like, what was it, $30 for some of those games?
Mm-hmm.
They were not cheap.
They were high up there, even for like back in the day. Because now you think, oh, it was like $30-$40. It's like, that's not that bad. No, back then, yeah.
Back then, when most of our toys, were between. Think about our action figures; they were between $5 and $10.
I mean, to put it in like context, I still have certain action figures in package that have like the $4 to $5 price tag on there. And if you consider that nowadays an action figure is about $10 to $15.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just like do the math on that, it's like, the games were pretty expensive now that you think of it. But I remember the Game Boy like when it came out because I still have my brick. I didn't buy it in '89 because I was 6 years old and had no money. Eventually, an original Game Boy brick came my way, and it came with Tetris, and that's all I wanted.
Well, this may shock the poo out of you, the Christmas poo. Approximate earnings, and this is including the hardware and the games and everything you could get to go with it, over $20 billion for the Game Boy.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I remember they had like the magnetic thing that went over the top that had a light on it, and they had all sorts of add-ons you could do.
I think Brayden had that one, didn't you, Brayden? The little screen where a magnifying glass.
The light?
Yeah.
There's like a light that goes on top of your Game Boy and has a magnifying glass. It's supposed
to make so. Yeah, I think so.
I guess it was supposed to enhance the picture, but it did nothing of the sort.
It just helped you play it in the dark, right?
I guess so, but I think it was supposed to make it clearer by magnifying it, but it never worked out for me. But then again, I had glasses anyway, so maybe it was just a telescopic effect.
I feel like I remember just like using that in bed when it was dark. But I might be confusing it with like a book light. Honestly, I have no idea.
Since everything had a magnifying glass and a light.
Yeah.
You can use it under the covers, kids. Come on.
Right.
All right, let's see. I know we all had the Game Boy. That was going to be my next topic of conversation, but you guys already covered it, which was sharing that nostalgia that we owned that. That was one of the things that we wanted and sought after and got for Christmas. So
not the year it came out, but we eventually we got that silver cup.
Yeah, I don't think I got one till like 93. I think I'd have been like 8. I don't think I got one for a while.
Time for me. Because it was going to come down to the Game Boy or a Sega Game Gear. but the Game Gear just sucked up way too many batteries.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, the Game Boy only takes 4. I guess that's
Right.
the sacrifice you take.
So let's jump to 1990. And in 1990, this is another one that at least Nathan and I fell prey to. I think Brayden may have gone more Power Rangers route, which will come up later, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures were the most sought after toys in 1990. They were action figures based on the popular animated series depicting 4 turtles trained in the martial arts by Master Splinter. They were created by Playmates Toys. The figures capitalized on the TMNT franchise's popularity. They sold approximately 40 million figures.
Yeah.
Approximate earnings estimated at $1 billion over the life of the product line. So that's not just that year. That's $1 billion over the life of the product line. Release date: they were first introduced in 1988, but they peaked in 1990.
No, I mean, I as religiously bound to the Ghostbusters franchise as I am, the Ninja Turtles always had the better figures, like the better design. I can't remember what the park was that we went to. Brayden, you might have actually gone with us, even though you were like itty bitty back then. But we were like walking through the back and we saw people doing like animation stills for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series. And they had the action figures on the desk with them. And I was like, that is so cool. Because
Wow.
I guess at the time I thought that they were just trying to get all this. That I didn't think that they were trying to push action figures on us like they were. But I didn't give a damn because all of the awesome figures I had, and I still have them in the basement, are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like
Hey.
Pizza Face, Mutagen Man, Muckman and Joe Eyeball. Just wait. There were so many great ones.
Do you still have your original Shredder that has like the purple cape?
Yes, I do.
Last time I looked him up, he was worth a pretty penny. Like, he's selling out of the box, which I know you're not ever going to sell yours, but he was selling out of the box for like over $100.
No, I had the original set, like the original run set, and somehow they just disappeared out of my mom's attic, which I was just completely heartbroken. And slowly but surely, I was able to procure some of the original runs again, but I don't know, that still kind of broke my heart. But I do have a purple cape shredder and a lot of like.
I wonder if they accidentally ended up in a yard sale. Oh no!
Oh, that would have ripped my heart asunder.
That's what happened to mine. That's why I'm like, I sold that shredder for probably 50 cents.
Oh no, I know I let a lot of lesser ones go in yard sales and stuff, but all of the really epic looking ones I always had to hang on to.
Brayden, like, am I wrong, or did you not get into this craze as much as we did?
The action figures? Not really. I would play with yours if you'd let me.
No, I totally remember. It's like, over here. It's like, you're going to be a Bugman and I'm going to be the worm.
Yeah, honestly, like I kind of missed the Ninja Turtles train a little bit. Like I liked the second movie a lot growing up, and my favorite memory to torture Ninja Turtles fans with is when the third movie came out. I remember renting it and thinking, this is pretty good.
Is that the time travel? Is that the time travel one?
That's the time traveling.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah, I love it.
You know what?
I mean, I haven't seen it in 30 years, but I just love how bad people did. I don't. Why are you so mad that I liked a Ninja Turtles thing?
You do you.
Like
when I was 5.
I actually went back and rewatched the third one, like I guess last year.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, I don't think it deserves quite the amount of crap it gets, but I'm still going to give this movie so much crap.
Well, while we're on the topic of Ninja Turtles, actually, Nathan's friend Nikki, she shared a Christmas memory with her, and if you guys are okay, I'm going to go ahead and share that right now because it's right on par with our topic. So I'm going to go ahead and share Nikki's clip.
Go for it.
What I remember most about Christmas was I always wanted the Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, and I ended up getting those. I can't remember what year it was. I know it was in the 90s, but I loved those things, and I played with them on, like, my sister, she got Barbies, and I would take the legs off of her Barbies and use them for swords for my Ninja Turtles. She used to get real mad. But, yeah, that's my most fondest memory, and that's pretty much it.
I love that she stole her sister's Barbie legs. I love it.
I remember like we would take Ninja Turtles onto the playground at school. We would sneak them in our backpacks and get
Yep.
them on the playground. It's like,
Yep.
all right.
Thank you for sharing that, Nikki, with Nathan. And Nathan, thank you for sharing that with us. 1991. This brings back memories for me and Nathan big time. Super Soaker water guns were the most sought after toy, which is crazy because I'm thinking this is not for Christmas. This has to be for the full year because I don't see us asking for Super Soakers when it's like 30 degrees outside.
I don't know. We were pretty crazy kids.
That's true. That's true.
I don't care how cold it is, Mom. I just got this Super Soaker at 50 and I want to go spray somebody with it. Chasing
Now,
the cat across the yard.
you brought up another solid point. How many versions of Super Soakers were there? You had so many, yeah. And if no one's familiar, which I think people are, I don't know if your girls are into it, but while looking this up, I realized that Super Soaker, the actual brand, has made a comeback. They only have one kind of Super Soaker out right now, and it's the classic. It's the original one, like the 2 bottle tank or whatever. But it's made a debut again.
But I don't know. The last time I tried to deal with a Super Soaker, it wasn't quite as powerful as it was back in the 90s. Because
I'm sure back then it could put an eye out.
Oh, absolutely. Because now you just kind of push the thing back to, I guess, quote unquote, cock it, and that's what activates the water squirting. But I remember back then, it was
you could pump. Yeah, you could pump it, and then you would use the trigger to release, and it would, depending on how much you pumped it, was how much pressure the water came out.
Oh no, it's like you pump it like 5 times and build pressure, and then you just turn around and pull the trigger. And like you said, you could put a welt on somebody. I mean,
it was pretty wicked.
Because even like the Super Soaker 100 was pretty crazy. And then they came out with like 1,000, 5,000, and they had the ones that shot around corners. I'm pretty sure they had to like take down the PSI on those.
Probably. So
like, hey, come here, right in the freaking face.
So the actual description is a high-powered water gun that allowed for powerful water battles using air pressure. And I might have to even edit that word out. Believe it or not, I'm not sure we're allowed to say the G-U-N word. But anyway, origin, it was invented by Lonnie Johnson and it was produced by Hasbro. Over 200 million units were sold worldwide, estimated up to $1 billion in sales. And it was invented in 1982, but it did not gain popularity until the early 90s, peaking in 1991.
It made every summer.
I have only positive memories. Did you ever play with the Super Soakers, Brayden? Why am I not remembering this? They were like, it was 91 though, but we probably still had them around when you were older. Yeah.
I can't remember which ones I had or anything. I remember having the Nerf guns too.
Oh, Nerf guns. I don't think they made the list.
Really?
I was at Walmart. I saw Nerf guns at the Christmas aisle, and I was like, that was at least a small part, if not some contribution to every Christmas growing up.
Super Soakers topping the list that year is really, how many different parts of the country are that warm on Christmas to
no. Like I said to him, I think when I was looking this up, it's pulling like the most popular toy from the year period.
From the whole year.
Yeah. Not the most sought out Christmas toy.
Not the Turbo Man necessarily.
Exactly. Because I'm not even seeing one on. Oh, never mind. He's on here. Okay. We'll get to him in a minute.
Turbo Man made the list.
No. Probably what inspired. Actually, no. That came out before Turbo Man came out before this toy came out. But anyway.
It was prophetic.
1992 was Barbie dolls, which I thought Barbies were always pretty popular, but I guess they peaked in 92 because it says that their iconic fashion changed and recognized their style for modern women with careers. Okay, that makes sense. So they were created by Ruth Handler and produced by Mattel. Total Barbie figures sold exceeds 1 billion since 1959. So I'm going to say that Barbie is more popular than Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers combined. Barbie dolls have grossed over 1 billion annually since they came out in 59. And again, they were released in 1959 and they have collected momentum through the 90s. I have a cousin, actually Brayden and I do, Heather. And growing up, she got like the Christmas Barbies every single year since she was born. And looking them up, because she was born the same year you were, she was born in 1990. Some of the dolls that she has are worth nearly like grand because she kept them in the cases and they're in mint condition.
I'm pretty sure that's Bailey too. Doesn't she have like almost every holiday Barbie?
She's got some money then.
But no, it's like this. I mean, being the father of 2 little girls, I totally believe that Barbie is worth some bank annually. And just like, looking back, because I like watching YouTube nostalgia compilations of toy commercials, and Barbie was everywhere. I mean, every time there's like a commercial break, it's a commercial break in this commercial block. Yeah, it's a Barbie commercial, like cut her hair, Barbie, change her dress, Barbie, send her to the moon, Barbie. It's I could totally believe that Barbie was out selling stuff back then.
So 1993 was the Cyber Pet Tamagotchi, which I don't remember having it, which is basically a Gigapet, Nathan, if you remember those.
Oh yeah.
But I don't remember having one of those until like 95 or 96, but apparently they peaked in popularity in 93. And I guess here in Lenore City, we were behind a few years. And if no one's familiar, it's a handheld digital pet that required care. Players fed, played with, and nurtured their virtual pets. And this later led to Giga babies, Giga dinosaurs, Giga sharks, anything you could imagine. They basically created one for it. It was created by Bandai, and it hit the market as a must-have toy for children. Over 82 million units sold globally. It peaked at around $600 million. And it was released in November of 93, but it really peaked its popularity. Peaked popularity in 1996 and 1997. Okay, so it got even more popular.
I feel like this was the beginning of young people being attached to an electronic in their pocket.
I remember the teachers taking it away from kids, and they were it's a distraction.
Think about all the Gigapets that starved to death in the teacher's drawer.
Like a euthanizing station. Like so much hatred for all these teachers. They killed my Gigapet.
Trying to raise awareness.
That evil winch. What gets me is like my daughter really doesn't know too much about like 90s fads or anything, but even my eldest, who's 13, knew what a Tamagotchi was. I guess that she was about 10 years old, and she's like, and I was describing one to her, like, oh yeah, Gigapet. She's like, you mean Tamagotchis? I was like, really? And he's like, you know this one? So it was popular enough that my daughter knew about it before I could tell her about it. That still kind of blows my mind.
Apparently, they are also, like the Super Soaker, sort of making a comeback at the moment. So I don't know if they've made their comeback here yet, but looking up popular kids' toys, that popped up for some reason this year.
That's so strange, because I guarantee you they got an app for that.
That's what I was about to say. There's probably an app on the phone you could do, but maybe it's just that thing of having the separate device. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys knew this either. Rolodexes are popular with some kids, like it's becoming a thing again. Kids are wanting landlines. What? Yes. You haven't heard of this? Like kids are really, 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 really peaking on some nostalgia right now.
The Unabomber is so big right now.
It's because
that does kind of crack me up, because Penny, like my 10-year-old, I have my old landline telephone, the clear see-through one where you can see all the guts and it lights up.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's on our kitchen wall, and she goes over and plays with it. So I could totally believe that that's about to make a comeback.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Landlines, good God!
That's just such an
expensive fanny packs. Fanny packs are making a comeback. They're just not the kind of fanny packs in neon green. They're like black and navy blue, but they're making comebacks.
No. A true fanny pack has to be day glow. It's got to be like hot orange and insane pink.
Oh yeah, it's got to be some.
No. I refuse to ever wear another fanny pack unless it's the Ninja Turtle one I had when I was little. Okay. I want the Ninja Turtle one back.
No. I got a Ninja Turtle backpack that's just precious to me.
Now I'm about to speak Brayden's language, because 1994 Power Rangers action figures dominated the toy market. Um,
Baby.
Toys based on the live action series featuring martial arts superheroes released by Bandai, just like the Tamagotchi. They sold over 100 million units within just a few years. Earnings exceeded 1 billion since its launch. And again, it was released in 93, but sales really became popular for Christmas in 1994. So probably Brayden, I don't know, you would have still been watching like Sesame Street at that time. You probably weren't
In
watching,
1994?
or you were already like
I was
a
already really
hardcore
into
Power
Power
Rangers.
Rangers.
Okay.
Because
then
the
we were
movie
watching that
came out.
together.
I just looked it up. The movie came out June 30th, 1995.
okay. And I went to see the movie with you and
that
Nathan.
was before I even started school. So
you had all day to watch Power Rangers.
yeah.
It came on first thing in the morning before I went to school. And then did it come on again in the afternoon?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Because I remember
spamming it hard.
when I would wake up waiting on the bus, Bobby's World would come on. It was Fox Cartoons, I think.
Yeah.
Bobby's World came on, and then a rerun of Power Rangers would come on. And then I would have to get on the bus before the Power Rangers episode ended.
I remember that was like acting that out on the playground was so big back then.
Oh, yeah. Being a Power Ranger or a Ninja Turtle was very big on the playground.
No, my biggest memory with the Power Rangers merch was that I had a sticker book and we would collect the stickers. And then I had the action figures, but I remember Mom coming home from work one day and telling me, because it was the first time I'd heard of the movie. She said there was going to be a movie and that she had seen all the merch at Toys R Us. And she said that there was, because I don't know if you guys remember the mythos, but the Green Ranger dies on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, there's no Green Ranger, but there's a mysterious shiny White Ranger.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, he's like,
it's like Rose
bad.
like the Phoenix and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's like what I remember because Brayden had the sorry, that's hard to say. White Ranger's sword.
Tommy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tommy's sword. And I thought that was so cool, but then I saw the advertisement for the Green Ranger's dagger. And it had like the flute looking attachments and stuff. And I was like, that is so cool. That was a hot topic or a hot item that Christmas.
I got that for Christmas and it didn't work. It was broken. Ooh. It didn't work. I never got to use that.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. 1995. Again, I thought this was later. I did not fall for this. I don't think you guys did either, but I think our parents did. And I know Mama did because she believed the lie. Beanie Babies.
Oh, yeah.
Plush toys filled with plastic pellets or beans that became a collectible craze. It was created by TY Inc. They rapidly gained popularity due to their rarity and collectible value. Approximately 100 million units were sold, estimates of more than 1 billion in sales. They were introduced in 1993, but they gained massive popularity in 1995. And we all had promises that we could retire at the age of 30 once we sold our Beanie Baby collection that our parents got for us.
See, I don't know if I was like a childhood Nostradamus, but even back then I was like, this is going to be worthless. These are hacky sacks shaped like critters.
I thought the same thing, but like I said, Mama was obsessed, and
she was going everywhere for those things, like flea markets. I mean, she had collections.
Believe
I'll
it,
my cap to her.
Believe it or not, the ones that actually have value now, I'm sure there are some that are like the collectibles. One I know is the Princess Diana one, but people are saying it's worth a ton of money. There was actually Brayden sent me a thing about a couple that was divorcing in the 90s. It was a meme over when they were dividing their Beanie Babies. I put it on TikTok, and then we had this massive fight in the comments between people saying they're worthless and they're worth money. I think both is true because online they are like the Princess Dianas are like $1,000 and up. However, even though they are $1,000 and up, you have to find someone willing to pay that. So they are worth money, but you're going to have to be in the right place at the right time to find somebody who really, really wants it.
Yeah, this is it's kind of like those pop vinyls.
It's not
That-
easy money. Yeah.
You really have to, I don't know, coming from like antiquers, because Mama and Papa were selling stuff forever. It's really hard to predict what's going to be worth a ton of money. And yeah, it's like I remember back in the day, we thought we were going to be comic book millionaires because we bought up all these issue number ones, first issues, and we didn't realize it's like there's millions of them. If everybody's got one, it's worthless. But
So
sorry, if you love Beanie Babies, I'm not hating on you. If you love them. But that's all you got to do is just you got to love what you got.
Like, here's a Beanie Baby for Christmas.
what
And
am I
I'm
gonna
like,
do
you
with
know,
why are you handing me a
the
dog
toy
toy?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Something I don't think will make it on the list, but something that was kind of like a Beanie Baby that I liked was the little Yoquiro Taco Bell dogs
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
that
about
talked.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those.
I forgot
Those I
about
thought
those.
I always liked getting gifted those.
You know what? That makes me think. Let's just take a quick break here, and I'm going to share. This has nothing to do with the Taco Bell dog, but I want to make sure that all these awesome clips get to be played, and I know I'm constrained on time. So let me go ahead and toss another one of these in here. This one is also from Nathan, who did a majority of the legwork for this by finding participants, and this is Phil.
So the toy that I was most excited to get when I was a kid it was Christmas of '99, and I was about 11 years old. And at the time, I was super big into wrestling. Watching it on TV, I had a bunch of action figures, rings, anything that I could get my hands on wrestling, I was all about it. And the toy that I got that year was called the Titantron, which is the area in which the wrestlers come down from the ramp and it plays their music. And the way it worked is that on the wrestler's boot, it had two little metal prongs, and you put it on the Titantron and it would say, "Now entering the ring," and it would play the wrestler's music, which was really cool because you could, envision whatever you wanted. You could make your own entrances, anything. And that was probably the coolest toy that I ever got.
Okay, I unmuted us. Just wanted to let him know I had this written down and I can't find it now. There are Titantrons that are still being sold on eBay. Some are new in the box. They are not that bad. If they're new in the box, they're like $69, $70. And it does include a Vince McMahon action figure. The part that's going to cost you the part that's going to cost you some real money, Mr. Phil, is the actual action figures that you're talking about that have the prongs on their boots. They are still sold individually or in sets, and they are like $25 and up for each figure, or the sets you can get a better deal. But yeah, if you want to have yourself a merry little nostalgic Christmas, go to eBay.
But no, like I remember like wrestling being huge, especially in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Because in the 80s, when we were kids with Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, like Andre the Giant, everything was big.
It was
and,
still
Roddy
yeah.
Piper.
I remember you remember the T-shirts and everything that you would wear, like the Hulk Hogan shirts, and like you said, all this. Yeah, you could wear all your yes.
The kids refused to rip it because I knew that their mom would beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
It's like, your shirt just like the Hulk. No, man, mom would get mad.
No.
No, it's like I remember that whole prong technology where you put them on the thing, the Titantron or whatever, and the playset would say a clip. Now I remember especially that era in the 90s when you had Mick Foley, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all these great wrestling personalities that were selling lots of merch. But the Titantron, I mean, that was pretty much that, and the Ring were the two big wrestling play sets. They were like the Technodrome and Sewer sets for the Ninja Turtles, or the Firehouse for the Ghostbusters, or oh my god, I'm trying to think of He-Man. What was it? Skull Mountain. I'm gonna get so much hate in the comments for forgetting this one. Wrestling was huge, and I still have a lot of Mick Foley and Ric Flair action figures.
Woo!
Angry, I'll just go down and punch Ric Flair. Woo!
Well, we appreciate Mr. Phil sharing that, and I know Nathan and another one of our friends who is part of the 93-1 family, Lilly Valentine. We're talking about doing a wrestling episode, so I know they would love to have you involved in that. So Nathan will get with you on that. Brayden, what about you for wrestling? Do you have any wrestling memories? Since we're talking about the action figure, did you have any of the action figures or any of that
No,
stuff?
so my thing with wrestling was this. I remember watching wrestling the first. I didn't grow up watching wrestling with like an older family member or anything. I remember watching HBO one day, and I just turned to the movie Alien when the chest burster scene happened, and that disturbed me. And then I changed the channel to like Fox or something, and it was wrestling, and it was Vince McMahon getting his arm broken by some guy, and I started crying. It was
Okay.
so much violence in such a short amount of time on TV.
Is it 'cause
And
you had your arm
honestly,
broken?
my
Yeah,
memories of wrestling are some kid being like, "Hey, do you like wrestling?" And you say, "Yeah," to be cool. And it's like, "Great, let me try out this move on you." So yeah, I didn't like wrestling.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. I was not a
never
huge
liked
fan.
wrestling.
That's
I
why
like it
said-
now that I'm older. I can appreciate it now that I'm older because when my friends ask me if I like wrestling now, they don't immediately body slam me.
Yeah, they're not 12 years
No,
old.
they're just like, well, I have this great memory of watching it with my brother and staying up late and our parents not knowing and watching the clips of Steve Austin shotgunning beers and knowing that like all my friends were like 8 years old and idolizing him. I love that.
Speaking of wrestling, the 1996 toy probably had a couple of parents wrestling and fighting with each other. And I believe this toy is actually what started Holiday Hell. And it's Tickle Me Elmo. A plush toy that giggles and shakes when you tickle it, becoming a must-have item for kids, which actually later on, parents started a campaign, which I don't know if I'll even leave this in here, but I don't know if you guys remember saying that it was a dirty toy.
Oh, I remember that crap.
Yeah. Bored parents clutching at straws. So it was produced by Taco Toys, and it quickly became a holiday sensation. Over 1 million units were sold in 96 alone. It was estimated that there was $1.3 billion in total sales, and it was released in July of 1996, and it basically sold out the minute it was put on shelves. But that's the toy I remember for some reason seeing. I'm sure there were things before this, but for me, it was my first memory of seeing like news stories of parents tasing each other and stuff like at malls over a toy.
It was crazy. I remember, what year did you say this was? 96?
Yes, 1996.
Yep, because I was thinking it was like Bailey wanted one because she was itty bitty. And Jen and Meredith and all the moms and aunts and stuff were getting together. It's like, all right, we got to go to Target. We're going to go to Walmart. We're going to go to Kmart. And we're going to swamp these people. And we're going to get it. You know, people hearing stories where it's like, she's got two. She's got two. And people, like all these soccer moms are swamping other soccer moms. And well, I mean, people were cutting throats for Tickle Me Elmos.
Well, yeah, I know you say cutting throats, and you're not wrong. Tickle Me Elmo was one of the first toys that this reminds me of the James Belushi Santa Claus and Jingle All the Way. Tickle Me Elmo was one of the first toys that people, like you said, were buying multiples of it, and they were selling it for triple or quadruple the price to parents, desperate parents.
I tell you, it was weird because this was, I guess, the first time I really noticed this kind of a mob mentality for a Christmas toy. Because in retrospect, you know, you hear stories about Cabbage Patch Kids back in the 80s. But I didn't care about that because I was a kid and, you know, Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, and Muppets. That's
okay. Next, we're going to talk about 1997. Brayden, did you have anything to say about Tickle Me Elmo?
No, I just remember being huge. But I don't even remember seeing one.
Oh, really?
I think it was like conspiracies by the mainstream media. I just remember seeing 2020.
It never existed.
I don't think it did. I just remember seeing 2020 talk about it and everybody being like, this is amazing. Brayden, do you want one? And like, nah. I like Big Bird. I was more of a Big Bird guy.
That's legit. I'm a Cookie Monster man myself.
Yeah, we all have our poison.
He was waiting for a piss me off Big Bird. Okay.
And I got it in 1998.
Well, in 1997, it was the Furby. I never got in on this one. An
No.
interactive robotic toy that resembles a small furry creature and can communicate. It was created by Tiger Electronics. I was a big Tiger toy fan, but it became one of the most popular toys of the late 1990s. It sold over 40 million units, estimated at over 1 billion in sales, and it was released in October of 97. All I remember about Furbies is that everyone got one for their kids, and then I remember all these parents being annoyed, like literally within 3 days of Christmas, because the thing didn't shut up. And then I remember the conspiracies that the government was listening to you through your Furby.
It's like, oh no, they're working on cell phone technology for that.
And we all were totally okay with that when it happened.
Absolutely. But no, it's like, I just remember Furbies being so creepy. Like you see them and they're just like so weird looking. It's like, hi there.
And their eyes would follow you
while you want to sleep.
And that creeped me out. So yeah, I was never a Furby fan. In fact, when I would go down the toy aisle when I was still around that age and they would have the Furbies, I would try to avoid that section because they would usually start talking to you.
Hey, where are you going? Come back.
I remember. Sorry. I remember with Furbies, I'd never heard of a Furby until, I guess, this was 97, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been like early January 98. We were getting back from Christmas break and everybody was getting asked. I remember the teacher asking us all while we were lined up outside the classroom what we got for Christmas. And 90% of the kids said Furbies. And I had never heard of a Furby before. That was the first time I'd ever heard of a Furby. Somehow I completely missed. I had no idea what it was that Christmas. I don't even remember what I got that Christmas.
It's like, Brayden, where were you all these years?
Oh, wait, was it 97?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that would have been Star Wars for me, because remember the re-releases, the special editions? I mean, like, me and my friends were 7 years old, so I was obsessed with Star Wars. But everybody else I knew, it was all about Furbies.
It's like a bunch of weirdos. Haven't you ever heard of Han Solo?
1998 was Hot Wheels, which I would think Hot Wheels was just every freaking year.
I mean, yeah, they're always pumping out Hot Wheels in variations and new paint jobs and.
Yeah, because they were released in the late 1960s, but apparently they did not see. They saw renewed popularity in the late 90s. I remember pretty much getting at least one Hot Wheels toy in my stocking every year, so I don't know why 1998 is. And I don't remember in 98 getting like a Hot Wheels set or any additional cars. It was just my one car in the stocking.
Yeah, I remember getting like novelty ones that had like Frankenstein or cereals or games or something. Yeah, it was always the novelty ones for me. But I remember more in the early 90s getting the sets that with the launchers and the loop-de-loops and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. After a certain point, I guess in my teen years, it's like, no, I want Nerf. I want something that's going to hurt somebody.
I'm going to share. This is not a Hot Wheels story, but this person had something similar. We're going to play again, thanks to Nathan. This is from Robert, and here we go.
Hello, my name is Robert. And what I remember most about the 90s at Christmas is my parents got me a Connect set. It was actually a roller coaster set. And I remember I stayed up, obviously Christmas Day, because I was one that always got up crazy early. And always trying to sneak in the presents. That was what I done. But anyways, I get it all together, and I built that whole set that day. I remember it took me a while. It took me a good 4 or 5 hours just to build it. It was a big set. And I played with that thing, I bet you, all day and all night. I used to love that. And the Lego set, I used to mess with all those. I always thought they were the coolest things. The Connexo was really neat because you could just build a ton of stuff with them. I remember mostly about I would just build random things with them. I remember I broke them too, trying to put stuff where it don't go. And I tried to put stuff together and try to build things, I ended up building I built a car out of one of them one time. It was kind of neat. And it wasn't even really supposed to make it go that way, but I ended up building like a whole rear end in a car and all kinds of stuff and put it together. And but that's what I most fondly remember about. I remember I just wanted that set. They ended up giving me a big old set, man. That was just really cool, I enjoyed playing with those. Well, I don't even know if you can even find those anymore. But anyway, that's basically what I remember. It was pretty neat.
Okay, let me tell you why I really liked Robert's clip. because when you sent me that, his voice kind of changed a little bit, and you could hear the excitement when he was talking about his toy. So you could tell it instantly took him back to that moment in his life when he got that Connect set. And he also shared his memory of getting up early and trying to sneak in the presents, and who among us never did that?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So his clip was just, it encapsulated a lot of Christmas for me. And I wanted to let him know. Also, I looked up the Connect roller coaster sets from the 90s are also still being sold, and they're about $50. So if
That's
you
not
wanted
too
to
bad.
have 90s nostalgia, you could go for it. Now there were several sets, so I don't know which particular one he had. But there were like 3 or 4 different roller coaster sets, but they were all under $100. So just depending on, what kind of Christmas you want to have. They are still available out there.
Like, they were really cool.
I never got one of those, but I do remember seeing the commercials and wanting one. And I think I probably never got it because Mama probably looked at me and she was like, "You're not a Robert. You don't have the patience to put that together."
Well, it's true. I mean, I love Legos. I mean, my kid didn't like Legos at some point, but I don't know, the Connects, and they almost seem like a plastic erector set.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's just I don't know if I've got the patience to sit there and meticulously put this together. But no, it's like certain people just have that mind where they can build just fantastic things and just figure out different ways to construct them. Not for me. I kind of envy him on that one.
I do too, especially when he said that he built a car out of one, and that was not the intention of what it was supposed to be. Because for me, even if I follow the instructions to the letter, I'm still probably going to get it wrong. So I can't even build the model it's supposed to be. Brayden, did you ever have a Connect set or have any experience playing with a Connect set that somebody else had, maybe a friend?
No.
Do you remember them?
I remember them. Is that not kind of similar to what the main character in the Sandlot had in his
like I said,
yes,
he
uses Connect. Well, it was a Rector set. You're right. That was an Erector set.
It's like a plastic Erector
same concept.
Set. I remember looking at those in the movie and just being like, I can never. I couldn't put Legos together.
I'm right there with you. It's a family trait on Dad's side, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. If you like Legos, you'll grow up to be an architect. If you like Erector sets and Connects, you're going to be an engineer or a mechanic.
Well, let's see. 1999. I think, Brayden, you may have been in on this craze. I'm not real sure. And it was Pokemon trading cards. It was a collectible card game based on the Pokemon franchise, allowing players to battle using decks, which apparently most people actually never did. They just traded the cards. It was designed by Wizards of the Coast, and it became a huge part of the Pokemon phenomenon. Estimated at over 30 billion cards were sold in total. Well over 1 billion since its launch has been made, and it gained massive popularity here in America in 1999. So, Brayden, I go back to you. Were you a Pokemon person? Or am I misremembering?
So my deal with Pokemon was I heard of it. I remember the first time I heard of it was on the news, the local news. They were talking about the most popular backpacks. And number one was, in their words, Pokemon.
You've got the Pokemon backpack.
Right. So everybody was kind of laughing about what's this weird thing called Pokemon. And then I remember our grandfather recorded me an episode of it that came on at like 7 a.m, and I watched it, and he actually recorded the very first episode of Pokemon. So I was able to watch the whole show. I was able to watch like the first season or however 20 episodes or whatever as he was recording them from the beginning.
See, I love Dad with that. It's just like, I'm going to be at home today. I think I'll record something for you.
Well, he was always good at keeping up with like trendy hip things. Like if there was a cool Spike Jones video or an episode of Jackass, he would call you into the living room to watch it.
Come here, I've got my thumb on the pulse of society.
He really was. He wasn't that old. He was like in his late 40s.
That's true.
Far away from where we are. And he liked knowing how things worked, and culture is a thing that has to work. So, but anyways, so when it came to, when it came to the card, Mom would not buy me the cards. She said they were worthless.
Fair. I
mean, which technically they're made out of the same thing as cash, and they're worth a lot more than cash these days. It's a single Pokemon card is more valuable than the U.S. dollar right now.
Isn't that sad? It was the original cryptocurrency.
I had a couple of Pokemon cards that a kid gave me on the bus. They didn't want. Those are the only Pokemon cards I had. Oh, so this is 98, right? I don't know.
No, 99. I apologize. 1999.
Oh, it is 99.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so we're rounding out the decade with Pokemon. That's
well.
I
got 2000. We still have 2000.
okay.
I sent a clip that was about Pokemon.
I know. I've got your clip because I got that, and you didn't say who you were, and I was like, "Is he pretending like he's somebody else, or is he?"
No.
And then I was like, "No, that's him. He's sharing his real memory." Okay.
I just assume. I assume I need no introduction when people hear it.
You're making me work for this. Okay.
No, it's funny because like Cassie, it's like she's plays the Pokemon video games, but we got her some of the cards. It's like, hey, this is nostalgic, and she's like, this is boring. They don't do anything. She said you got the video games and you got the card collectors.
Yeah. Did you ever play Pokemon Snap?
I never played any of the Pokemons.
Snap was the one that taught you how to take pictures, and they would critique the pictures you came back with.
It's like, don't you judge me.
It was great. And I actually blame Pokemon Snap with why every millennial I know has at some point been a professional photographer.
Well, here is Brayden's clip. I got it uploaded into the studio. Here we go.
My favorite Christmas memory as far as presents in the 90s is concerned is there was one year that I wanted a Nintendo 64, and it was the Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racing Nintendo 64. And I also asked for the Pokemon Yellow Game Boy Color, but I was told I probably wouldn't be able to get both. So I knew I was probably going to get one or the other. And I fell asleep on Christmas Eve night, and then I woke up at about 2 a.m. I remember everything I was watching. Woke up to A Christmas Story on TNT, and I just sat there and watched it for a little while. I really wanted to see if Santa had come, so I kept going and bugging my mom to see if I could go pick out a movie, because to pick out a VHS, I had to get kind of close to the living room where the presents would be. So I would go and pick out a movie and come back, but I was kind of scared to look. And then I remember on Walt Disney, there's some sort of Alfredo Braca movie came on that was like a gunfighter movie. I thought it was kind of weird to be watching a gunfight on Disney Channel. I remember watching more Christmas Story, and finally I just went to the living room and looked before my mom knew I was looking. And there's the Game Boy Color, the Pokemon Game Boy Color, and the Star Wars Nintendo 64.
Hold on. I was laughing the whole time. You were so detailed. You were so detailed.
In the house.
I remember it happening, and it felt like a thriller.
It was like
I had this naughty thing I wanted to do.
It's like, I'm going to sneak out in the middle of the night to get a VHS from the living room.
You were so descriptive. It felt like the ghost of Christmas past if he was teaching me how to sneak into my presents early.
It was just so awesome. I was like, taking the journey. I love this.
Let's see. Our next, because we got to hurry. Brayden's got to go. Our last one is actually the for 2000, and it was the PlayStation 2. And the PlayStation 2, it's funny that you were mentioning your games that you got, because the PlayStation 2 was the best-selling video game console of all time at the time. And it sold 155 million units with a library of over 3,800 games. And it basically solidified PlayStation's place in history. I had a PlayStation 1. I think I got the PS2, I'm pretty sure.
PlayStation 2 might be the best console ever.
It was pretty cool. Nathan, you were a Nintendo. You were a Nintendo like a 64, right?
No. I had a Super Nintendo, and I did not get another system until I got a original Xbox in like 2004, 2005, maybe.
Okay.
I just remember being blown away because that's when you got GTAs.
Yeah.
That's when it
like
started to kind of look slick a little bit. Now, if you look at them now, they don't look slick, but that's when it really started to kind of. Say what?
Wasn't like Grand Theft Auto Vice City on PlayStation 2?
That was PlayStation 2. The
Mhm.
Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movie game was
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
The Simpsons games, the Lord of the Rings movie adaptation games.
Really?
Do you guys remember your favorite video game? And it can be for whatever console. Because for PlayStation, actually probably any of them, and this is even contending with Mario, would be Mortal Kombat. Any of the Mortal Kombat series. I love Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. The original Super Mario World is still one of the greatest games ever. I can't go a full month without popping on my Super Nintendo and playing
Classic.
Super Mario World with the wife.
That's classic. Brayden, what about you?
My favorite's also Super Mario World. So just to add a third one into the mix, a weird one that came out for PS2. This guy made 2 games. He made Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. Both of those are just masterpieces.
I was gonna say,
Eco's the less played of the 2. I really recommend playing Eco. It's like the best puzzle game ever. It's the only puzzle game that'll make you cry.
Well, since we're still talking about video games, we've got we actually got 3 more clips to play, but I'm going to go ahead and knock this one out real quick because it's about a video game console. Hold on one moment. This is Jason.
I would have to say my favorite Christmas is from the 90s, where the Christmases when I would get a new bicycle, and especially like 1997 when I got a new Nintendo 64 to play with. It was one of the coolest Christmases that I remember.
That one was short and sweet after we got Brayden's documentary. So, I'm just kidding, Brayden. I love the way you told that story.
But no, it's like I never had a 64. It's like it was I don't know. That was one that just eluded me. I remember Brayden had one. It was the joystick in the middle that kind of eluded me. And I was like, I don't know if I want this guy.
I don't remember much about that console other than I had a friend named Jonathan that had it, and he played Mario Kart, and Mario Kart was super fun to play.
But the fact that he mentioned bicycles actually ties into my favorite Christmas present. If you want me to go ahead and get that out of the way.
Yeah, please.
No, I was like, my favorite Christmas present of all time was December of 1991. I got a Huffy Street Rocker radio bike.
Ooh.
And you might remember that. It had like the weird day
yeah.
front handlebars.
Yes.
Because I had that thing forever. Basically until I upgraded to a big boy bike, I guess in the late 90s.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
It got passed down to me.
Oh, did you get that after I was done with it?
Yeah, and that was the best bike I've ever had. Every bike I get since then has been me trying to relive the glory of the Street Rocker.
That's the thing. It's like I remember waking up like Christmas morning because I asked for a bike. Because they gave me a hand-me-down. It was like this little blue rinky-dink bike, but I came out on Christmas morning, and there was just this awesome, like really, oh no, they had like the day glow colors. Like
it was like a fixie BMX bike. Like that thing could pop wheelies, and you could do all kinds of tricks with it.
And it's like they just had this little AM FM radio on the front that you can get all the local stations on.
Right. That did not work by the time I got a hold of it.
No, dude, like, we wore that thing out.
I got one more funny one.
Okay.
The year that Batman Forever came out.
Yeah. I
got the Batmobile.
I
remember I got it on Christmas Eve. Somebody gave it to me. I can't remember who gave it to me on Christmas, but somebody gave it to me on Christmas Eve.
Ooh.
And then on Christmas Eve night, I remember I played with it all of Christmas Eve night and everything. And then on Christmas Eve night, I remember I went and I hid it behind the piano in my living room. I didn't want Santa to see it and to put it in his bag and give it to another kid.
That's smart. That's smart.
And it was still there the next day, so you can't tell me I was wrong.
You never know when Santa may have to regift.
He's a stranger.
He's coming into your home at night.
Yeah, you don't really
He's
know
eating your cookies and drinking your milk.
He's an existentialist hero. You're not quite sure where he stands.
I guess my favorite would not really be a toy, but it was something that I asked for from like 96 onward until I got it in 1999. And that was, I got a desktop computer that was not even like a Gateway. It was not a name brand at all. It was one that my Gramps, which was my mom's stepdad, and I called him Gramps. I know you guys remember him, or at least Nathan does. He built computers, so he built it for me basically from scrap. But I was so excited because from 90s, every time I would ask, she would be like, "Well, Mom," I'd be like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And Peter, "We can't do that. What else do you want for Christmas?" So from 96 on, that was all I wanted. And then in 99, I finally got the computer. And
I remember that computer.
I wore that thing out until it literally had no memory left in it. So.
A lot of horror movie trivia looked up on that computer.
Yep. As far as like a tradition or something like that goes, I think it goes without saying my favorite 90s tradition would be when you guys came over around lunchtime and we would have a Christmas where we would exchange our gifts at my mom Mary's house. And then I would go with you guys to the Preston family Christmas, and we would always do the Secret Santa thing there. So basically, all Christmas Eve from noon until 9, we were booked the whole time. Of course, Santa Claus is in the back of your mind, but you're not just standing there pacing back and forth. Come on, Santa, because we had that tradition of doing those things together. And then by the time you get home from that, it was basically like you have time to watch maybe one thing, take a bath, and go to bed because Santa's coming. So
like
that's
so
my
pressed for time.
favorite 90s tradition. So what about you guys?
Now, I gotta say, like, that whole same rigmarole where it's like you're going from like noon on Christmas Eve all the way pretty much until like 5 o'clock the next day. Because you got the wake up Santa Claus, you got your Christmas lunch, and then you're just playing with toys and trying to open up everything and play with it before it gets to be dark outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all the same there. We did get one because I know I'd asked for toys or memories or anything. Mindy, which is a friend of mine, she actually shared a Christmas memory with us. It was a tradition with her family. I'm going to go ahead and play her clip now, and then we have one more, and then I promise we're done because I know we're tight on time. So give me 1 second here.
Hi, Michael, in the 90s Rewind. My name is Mindy, and one of my favorite 90s Christmas memories is when my parents would drop my brothers and I off at my aunt's house a week before Christmas. All my cousins would be there, and we would all spend the evening making gingerbread houses, eating pizza, making Christmas cookies, playing with her mini record player and her light bright toy. She would call Santa and let us tell him what we wanted for Christmas. Looking back, I think that was probably my uncle she was calling, but we would get so excited to tell him what we wanted. We would look forward to this time with her every year, and I know my parents really appreciated the evening without the kids. This past weekend, my aunt asked if she could do the same thing with all of our kids. And I was so happy that the next generation would get to experience our 90s Christmas tradition. And wouldn't you know, she had the same toys, that light bright and the mini record player. The kids could not stop talking about how much fun they had with Aunt Margaret. And I will cherish those memories forever.
Aw, like the light bright has made a comeback.
Now her kids will have that. And it's one of those fun things of passing those traditions on to the next generation. We have one more clip if you guys have a second, and it is from Lilly. Lilly just couldn't be with us for this episode, but I have got her clip right here. So I'm going to go ahead and play Miss Lilly. I have not even heard this myself. So she just sent it under the wire. So I just got it uploaded. Here we go. Hang on 1 second.
Hey, 90s Rewinders. It's Lilly Valentine, your queen of 90s nostalgia. First and foremost, I want to tell all of our listeners that I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a very happy holidays. My favorite Christmas nostalgia tradition is actually going to be one that my grandfather started with the family. Every Christmas Eve, my grandfather would make sure that he had access to a van big enough to put the whole family into. He would call my aunt and my uncle over with their kids and my mom and myself, and we would all pile into the van right around sunset, stop by a McDonald's, get a whole bunch of fries for everybody, a whole bunch of hot chocolate. We would munch down on the fries, and then we would spend the rest of the evening driving around town, looking at all of the amazing Christmas light displays that everyone had worked so hard on building. It was like our own personal Christmas Eve light show, and those memories are the ones that I hold nearest and dearest to my heart. I did want to take a quick second in this recording and say to my fellow co-hosts, thank you so much for inviting me on this wild and amazing journey that is 90s Rewind Report. You have helped unlock so many memories from my childhood that some I thought were lost forever. And I can't thank the three of you enough for that. And I can't tell you how much I look forward to 2025 and many years to come with the amazing show that is 90s Rewind Report. So again, thank you all. Sending lots of nostalgic love and bright holiday wishes. Love, Lily.
I think I'm going to cry.
Say, oh, we love you, Lily. That was so sweet.
We love you too, Lily. That was, wow. I wasn't expecting that, actually.
That's definitely some of that sweet, like Christmas, heartwarming. Oh,
Lily, don't worry. We have not forgot about you. You're definitely going to be in season 2 with us. Wanted you to be part of some of these other episodes, and I know that just with the holidays and timing and everything, it just didn't work out. But wow, that was actually. I'm glad I saved your clip for the end of the show because that was
like
really
a wonderful note to go out on. You know?
Yes, exactly. Whew. Okay. On that note, I look forward to seeing you guys over Christmas night. Like I said, we've got lots of goodies and food that we're going to have made up for everybody. Brayden, I have not forgotten about you. I have some vegan options so that you can have some stuff here and you can take some stuff back for Ashta. Yeah, so
the girls are excited. They can't wait to see you guys.
I'm really excited to see them too, and I really cannot wait to see their faces when they see some of the stuff that they're getting, because it's, like I said, a few of those things are things we grew up with. So I'm just curious to see what their reaction's going to be when they rip those things open. We are probably going to be taking a short a break. We're going to be coming back for season 2. Not really sure when we're going to be doing that, but we are going to be recording some episodes. So like Lily, you'll be hearing from us because we'll want you to be coming on here and doing some stuff. Nathan and his friend Phil are probably going to talk about doing that wrestling episode with you. So yeah, the three of you, I'm going to get your contact information to each other so that you can, you set that up and arrange it.
Yeah, as I say, that'll be fun.
Whew, I'm still tore up over that message. But yeah, so if you guys have topics you want us to talk about, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Nick O. He asked us to do a episode of a PBS special. He gave us the episode he wants us to do. We're going to do that. David G, please do not think we forgot about you and your Nicktoon request. That's going to come soon as well in season 2. We're going to try to focus on branching out into a lot of other topics for the 90s in season 2 as well. So if there's other things you want to talk about other than just rewatches of movies and TV shows, hit us up. The 90s Rewind Report at gmail.com. I know I normally give it to Nate to send out, but before I do that, Brayden, do you have anything to say to the listeners before we end it?
Thanks for listening and giving us all an excuse to do this. It's been great doing this with you guys.
Same.
It's been awesome.
It's true. I mean, I appreciate this and getting together and just reminiscing and trying to do it at least once a week. It's good for the soul. It's good for the body. And I appreciate all the people that listen to us. Because you start to think it's like, man, the only person that's listening to this is the people that live inside my head.
That's what I thought at first too, but we've gotten emails, and Nick O just messaged on randomly on Facebook, and that's why I was like, do you guys know this person? Okay, then they're actually a listener. They're not just one of our friends who is like, hey, let's see if we can do this.
And you're even more special. It's like, we love you all.
Exactly. Ooh, I'm tore up. Okay, all I have to say to everybody is I really hope and it's so cheesy, but I'm going to say it. It's such a 90s cliche sitcom thing to say, but from our family to yours, we really do wish that you guys have the happiest of holidays and have a safe new year. And now I'm going to let you send it out, Nate.
Howdy ho, nostalgians! I hope our little Christmas time reminiscing brought a little festive joy to your season. And don't forget to eat your fiber so I can bring a little joy to your Christmas time, too. Oh, tune in next time for the 90s Rewind Report. And from our nuggets to yours, Merry Christmas!